Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man can, spins a web any size, catches the thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Welcome back to another quick review, but this is going to be a Flashback Friday movie review. So we went back and we saw Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the very first one, not the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spider-Man that came back out in 2002, starring Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst, James Franco, Willem Dafoe, and also Joe Manganiello is in this movie. Now, some people might not know because Joe Manganiello was really just starting out because he had a very minor role, but he played Flash Thompson. Some people don't remember that. Of course, you have J.K. Simmons. You also have J.K. Simmons. This is way before he won his Oscar. The name of the movie slips my mind. I apologize. Remember it. Leave in the comments. But a lot of people in this movie, a lot of iconic people in this movie starting out, a lot of well-known actors, and some actors just coming up in this movie. And Spider-Man wasn't really the very, very first, comic movie because we had X-Men to come out before then, but Spider-Man really just hit hard back in 2002, coming big screen. Seeing Spider-Man on the big screen for the first time when I was a young kid was amazing. And now my son, he's 15, and he loves this movie. This movie came out way before he was born, of course, and it came out in 2002, and this movie still holds up. Everything from how this Tobey Maguire just embodies Spider-Man at that time, the nerdy dude, the geeky, even though a lot of these actors were way over the age of being in high school, because at that time, people that that look a certain age would play them, but even people that were still in the mid 20s or 30s, they still played young characters playing in high school. That's back in the early days where they got actors, but they didn't really use young actors at the time. They try to use, of course, actors that are 18 and above because it makes it much easier for them to handle. Because if you're a younger child actor, they have more rules, schooling, things like that. But when you're adult and older, you don't have to worry about school and other things like that. They can just go and jump right in there and have nothing really hold them back. But and as you can tell, James Franco, Kristen Dunst, James Franco, looking at them, they look, in the mid 20s, even older. I apologize. Besides that, still a good movie. The CGI, even back in 2002, still kind of holds up. Now, a few things here and there, you can tell that the CG is not as good as it is now, but still looking at it, it still hits. This movie still holds up. It's a good action-packed movie. The best part of this movie, I'm gonna spoil it, whatever. When Spider-Man is fighting the Green Goblin in that old abandoned building, and they just go off back and forth, and Green Goblin was taking it to Spider-Man, just whooping his ass, and I love that because you show that even though that he has this power, he has a strength, after the spider bite, he can still, get his ass whooped by somebody else. Even though, as we know, Willem Dafoe, he took some stuff too to enhance him, but even that, you can still see Spider-Man get his butt whooped, and he got it whooped badly. And I like that. I like that about the movie because it shows in the movie. So he gets bit. He has his power, and that he starts saving people and everything. But you have this, this awesome villain that played by Willem Dafoe that just wrecks Spider-Man. And Willem Dafoe is an amazing actor where he can, have both the Green Goblin and himself. And as you watch that, when he's talking to himself and how it's editing, Sam Raimi did an awesome job. How the editing is now, it's one person, but as you watch it, he's really talking to two people. He's really talking to himself, but it's like two people in that room, and it was so done so well. Tobey Maguire did a fantastic job as Spider-Man. J.K. Simmons, even today, even in the new Spider movie, you have J.K. Simmons playing J. Jonah Jameson. You can't find somebody else to play that actor. J.K. Simmons really embodied J. Jonah Jameson. If you watch the old Spider-Man cartoons back in the mid 90s, that J.K. Simmons, I feel like that's where J.K. Simmons played it off. He played it off from the 90s, the comics, and he just ran with it. And now he's back again, of course, in the new Spider-Man. You can't change him. But like I said, Spider-Man, the very first one, 2002 Spider-Man, hits everything. The CGI was good enough at that time. Spider-Man flying through the air, seeing that, just seeing him on the screen, seeing Spider-Man was amazing. Now, Spider-Man wasn't as big as a lot of other characters, but he still was he still was on top of there. He was before the Avengers, before Iron Man, before all that. He was on top. That's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is equivalent to almost Superman and Batman in the DC. That everybody knew Spider-Man. Everybody wanted to be Spider-Man. Even before the cartoon, even before the movie came out, Spider-Man was the man with his cartoons, his toys, and all that. He was on top of Marvel, and everybody else is below, even before these Avengers. So everybody needs to really, really pay homage to Spider-Man, the very first Spider-Man, because he made it all from Marvel movies, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic seeing again, reliving my childhood, going to see Spider-Man in the big in the theaters, hearing the loud crescendos of the music and when they're fighting and everything. Spider-Man 2002 holds up so well, and I enjoyed this movie. My kids enjoyed it. My daughter has 8 enjoyed it. My son, of course, he watches it over and over again. He's 15. And this movie came out in 2002. That shows you that people still love this movie, and I truly enjoyed it. And more than likely, we will go watch the Spider-Man 2, which is probably, everybody's going to say, is their favorite Spider-Man movie out of the whole Spider-Man movies that came out. Spider-Man 2, we got Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man. It's so well. Oh, can't wait till you see that movie. That movie just goes up here. But that's my flashback Friday on this movie. This movie still holds up. The CGI, which it's kind of off, but at that time, it's really, really good. The acting, how Tobey Maguire embodies Spider-Man was done so well. The shots, the editing, the pacing in this movie, the music. And this movie done so well. Of course, some things even today that was kind of off with James Franco's character and liking Kristen Dunst, how that was unfolded. I feel like that was the lazy part in the movie. I feel like they could have done that a little bit better. James Franco dating Kristen Dunst, or dating Mary Jane, which he knew that Toby had a big crush on him. Instead of pushing your friend, trying to help him, you kind of take his girl, not his girl. I feel like that could have done a little bit different with that. A lot of the editing, the scenes between Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst, especially the scene where he sees her coming out the restaurant and they're talking. I felt that could have been a little bit more. I felt like that scene went off along too much. But other than that, I mean, there's a few things here and there. Like this movie is not perfect, but this movie holds up today. Coming out back in 2002, and now it's 2020. This movie that people should go back and see this movie before all the other movies that came out from Marvel. See this movie because this movie really started all. I know X-Men came out before this, but also we have to remember this one as well from Sony and on up. This is a good movie. This is one of my favorite flashback movies to review and to go back and watch with my kids, my whole family. We enjoyed it. We had fun with it. Stay tuned for our next Flashback Friday. Not sure what's that going to be. That's going to be a surprise. If you have any recommendations for our Flashback Friday's movie, please leave it in the comments. But remember, subscribe, comment, share, and also turn that bell notification on so you can see my next review coming up. Okay, guys? Have a nice day.
Is he strong? Listen, bud. He's got a radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look over it. Hey there. There goes the Spider-Man.